There's a line here, girl. You got a problem here, guy?
Melissa, I will come your way first. I said this to you the other day. I love how you establish a foundation for Sam in Scream 5 and then just run with it here. What is one thing you wanted to keep consistent about the character from 5 to 6, but then also what is something that you wanted to show the audience that's new to her now based on how she responded to the events of 5?
I mean, Sam is a tough girl, and I think I wanted that to continue, but I definitely wanted to show a more vulnerable side of her in this one and get to show more shades to her, because now that like the dam has burst, there's just so much that naturally would come out, and that fear of like having to protect her sister, I think would just give way to have a lot more emotions come out. And I think that's what I was really excited to explore in this next movie.
I can't emphasize how well that works here. That complexity is just on point, and I love it. Jenna, for you, you've obviously had your fair share of horror experience. Not only does Scream in general now feel like a unique franchise overall, but this movie in particular feels like a really unique installment of it. So is there anything, even with all that horror experience, that like caught you by surprise in terms of what it took to make Scream 6 in particular?
Well, I think oftentimes in horror films, I am just screaming and crying. I feel like I'm often either really annoying or I play the stupid character. And Tara this time around had a personality, which was interesting to kind of play with. And then also the change of atmosphere. I think because Scream has never left Woodsboro before, I felt like it made it a lot more intimidating. And it kind of gave us more room to kind of play or isolated our main cast in a way that we've never seen in a Scream film before. So I think that there was a really interesting dynamic that automatically came with that, and kind of something a bit more horrific and kind of grounding in a way.
Very successful with that here. I will say they're screaming and crying in X, but she makes choices and she has her own personal drive there.
She's cool for a second and then she goes back on it. She just becomes really judgmental and gross.
I get it. All right, Courtney, you're getting a very specific question from me because it was emphasized quite a few times in Scream 5 that Gale was not going to write another book. She writes another book, and we don't see her make that choice because it happens in between the events of the two films. In your mind, why does she make that choice? Is there a specific life event that kind of turned her on that path again?
I think she loves fame. She loves to be recognized and thought of, and as she says, somebody was going to do it, and why not? Why wouldn't she get the credit? She knows the story.
I have another very specific question, because there is the lightest mention in the movie that Gale also didn't have the best relationship with her parents. And I'm surprised over the years I haven't thought about this, but is there any backstory work you've done over the years to determine like why Gale is the person she is and why she's gone on this particular career path?
I mean, I would definitely say, that's what usually happens, isn't it? Where your family, you've been neglected, or we all have so many triggers in life, and I think that she had many.
For all three of you now, at what point in the making of this movie did you learn who the killer was?
Reading the script.
Yeah, I remember specifically Matt and Tyler withholding the third act of the script when they sent it to us to read. And it wasn't until I think we were about to start shooting that they actually gave us the last act.
Yeah.
Right?
What I will say is it was interesting once you knew who Ghostface was, watching them set up their play, because, they would say a line a certain way or give you a certain look and you think, I'm on to you.
I agree. I love that. I did not know who the killer was going to be, because once Gale dies or lives, whatever, once she left, I love not knowing. And I loved watching the actors going, wait a minute, are you a good actor? Are you a good actor acting like you're acting?
Courtney is so funny because we'd be on set and she was like, I didn't read the script. I just read my parts. I don't want to know
the script until I die or not in it anymore.
But she plays the game behind the scenes. She's like, I'm going to figure it out.
And guess what?
Yeah. And
you figured it out.
Yeah, she was right.
Mm-hmm. I'm not surprised.
But also you get to watch the actors perform. So like you said, that's my favorite part.
I can't wait to watch it again so I can see all of these little performance like beats and subtleties that I missed the first time around.
Yeah.
You also get your very first Ghostface call. Even having watched other cast members do, like heavy action attack set pieces involving a call, is there anything about the production process of shooting a scene like that surprised you?
Not surprising. It was just, it was a lot of work. I mean, we'd go in on, not when we were filming, and rehearse the fight scene. And, it's also, let me tell you, you can carry a rubber pan, but if I hit him, I would have actually hurt him. Or, he's using a knife and coming after me. It's not like retractable. It actually was, so I'm just glad he didn't hurt me. Actually kill me.
That sequence might be one of the most tense sequences of the entire franchise for me. And I think it's because the choreography is spectacular, but also because that is a scene that highlights the emotional investment that this franchise has earned from fans over the years. So congratulations on that. For fun, because clearly I'm Scream obsessed, but I'm also a New Yorker and I love being here. So I'm going to set a little scene for you. You as in real you, you're in New York. Ghostface is on the loose and he's looking for you and he's going to kill you in your favorite place in Manhattan. Where is he going to kill you? Because I die in the meatball shop.
I die in a Broadway theater.
I like that.
Ooh. I feel like I might die in a theater as well. I don't know if I have a specific one, but a good show is.
Yeah.
I think maybe Elio's uptown where there's a lot of people and like you wouldn't expect it.
Okay.
And no one would know, and they're so crowded there. I'd fall over and that would be it.
If you had the opportunity to take home one item from the shrine, which one would you pick and why?
Either the Casey Becker rope or the Tatum garage door. I don't know where I'm going to put that or what I'm going to do with that, but the fact that I saw that in that was insane to see.
That was a good one.
I think there was a really cool phone.
The melted phone.
The melted phone.
Oh, it's the fax machine.
Yeah.
The fax machine from 3.
Yeah.
I'm taking Stu's TV because Stu is dead. I don't tolerate that theory. He is dead.
He is dead.
Oh, you don't like that he's alive?
I don't like
Neither
that.
do I. Honestly, I might agree.
Wait a minute.
There we go.
They think that Stu's still alive.
Who does?
People.
The inner.
Oh.
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
You say it, it speaks it into existence. Everyone must stop now. Stu is dead.
Guys?
Jasmin, first thing that I remembered from Scream 5 is that you reached out to Jamie and you had a little interaction.
Yeah.
Have you two met or conversed more about your character since?
We've messaged a bit more, but we haven't met yet in person. I think he invited me to be on his podcast, but it just hasn't happened. But I would love to meet him in person and for him to continue to tell me I'm amazing.
Did he have any hot takes on Mindy?
He said that he liked her. He said that he appreciated what I did, and that felt really good.
Yeah.
He hated Mason's per.
Most people do. That's okay. I like that they have the wherewithal to tell me that, though.
We
At least they're
appreciate
candid.
honesty here.
Nobody would believe that, especially after you
Aw.
make my heart explode in this movie. My God.
Aw, that's really sweet.
I mean
Thank
it.
you.
I mean it. Speaking of Randy for a minute, so with the rules here, do you have a favorite new rule in this movie, given the fact that now it's set in a big city, but also given the prequel, sequel / franchise rules?
Right. Do you remember Mindy's rules?
I like the. I think this is the second time you said bigger budget because you mentioned beheadings.
Oh, yeah.
That's just
But
my
then
favorite.
wasn't
bit.
that line changed?
No, beheadings is still in there.
It is.
It
Yeah.
is.
Okay.
Can
Beheadings.
confirm it is,
It is very
and
much
there's
in
a
there.
nice nod to it, too.
Really and truly, I like that. That was a very organic moment where it was like, oh, beheadings. That's really grisly.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that pay off, and it did. People will find that one out.
I enjoyed that. Going back to something you were busy talking about for the first film, your NYU paper. I heard a little bit about the paper, but I want to know what your thesis was. What was the core of the idea in terms of why the original Scream should be rebooted?
Well, it wasn't so much why, so much the conceit that Scream as a franchise is ripe for revival simply because of the timeless aspect of referential cinema. That in the postmodern landscape of making movies, you kind of can take films that both reference themselves and the genre at large and just update it each and every time with new casts of characters and also new killers and motives that I don't necessarily think, assuming it's done right and with care and with passion and whatnot, that it can kind of strike gold each and every time, so long as it's capturing the zeitgeist it finds itself in.
I would legit read that paper and probably enjoy it if you ever shared it.
Listen, man, I wrote it when I was like 20. I didn't have the verbiage.
A sold copy.
Oh, absolutely not.
And then
no,
donate that to charity.
I don't need to.
And then donate it to charity.
That's
actually
be nice.
a brilliant idea.
That's sweet.
I'm into that idea.
Thank you.
Oh, I would love that.
I'll bid on it.
Really?
I'll bid on it.
Oh,
Yes, I will.
that's fair,
Happily. Given what you just brought up about the paper, though, since the release of Scream 5, is there any new horror movie that's been released that you would love to see a Scream 7 reference?
M. Thregan.
Oh.
And I
easy.
want the sequel to be M. Morgan. I'm telling you, I've written the movie for you guys at this point.
That's right. She
That's
started.
me as M.
Let's
Forgan.
put her in M. Forgan. I need Megan to fight, not
And then if
Mindy.
I did play M. Forgan, and then
Not a
if there's another
character.
Scream and Mindy mentioned it, and I was talking about myself,
I
people's
need
heads
Jasmin
would
to
Blowing
be
my
in
mind
that
that
movie.
this is
That's
the
right.
first time I think I've ever heard someone say that out loud.
M. Thregan?
Like, I've thought about it, but I
Oh.
don't think I've ever heard
And M.
someone say
Forgan?
it.
M. Forgan Morgan. M. Forgan Morgan. Freeman. Yeah.
You want M. Thregan, too. I can't even say it.
Megan, for sure. I also think there's a big market for like indie horror to like really get the like horror fans involved. Megan's my real answer, but if there was like a reference to something subtle like a Cannibal Holocaust or something just really out there, I would love.
You're really
for
going for it.
Yeah, man. That movie's tough.
Yeah.
For so many reasons.
There's definitely a lot that fall in that department. I don't know if
you
I can
seen
handle that
Barrera?
version of a Scream movie.
I don't. Well, I just wouldn't want people to watch and go, I should check out that movie because they'd be traumatized like I
Yeah,
am.
that's my Martyrs. I can't handle Martyrs.
Really?
Oh,
They were you.
that
both.
one messed me up for a little while.
There you go. See, we all have those movies though
We do.
that when we're told like, you should check this out. It'll mess you up, and you're like, I can handle it. And then
Oh
you can't.
yeah, mine for me. It's what is it? The one after Hereditary.
Midsommar?
Yeah, because the scene where he jumped and then his head on
Really?
the rock.
Midsommar was a great meditation on breakups.
I thought you were gonna say it's a great meditation. Like
It's
you
a
put it on
great
to
meditation.
meditate. I was like, you need help.
No.
You need to be exercised.
Shouts out to Archie. His character died by getting his back filleted and filled with flowers. And then I met him, and he's a great guy, and he doesn't have any flowers in his face or
It's giving Yellow
skin on
Jackets.
that. Watch Yellow Jackets.
I
great.
can't wait.
You're not ready.
Going back to Scream now, the shrine. If you could both keep one particular item from that shrine, which one would you pick and why?
You'd keep the camcorder.
I changed my answer. So
What is it?
They have the Cheetos, like the vintage Cheetos.
Oh, that's
from,
a good
that.
That's
answer.
great. That's
like
so dope. I love that. I love when movies call back to
I'd
that.
keep some of the photos of Dewey. Yeah.
R.I.P. to the realest.
I'll never get over that. Ever.
I know. It was such a sad.
Hey, you never know. So he might not die.
That scene crushed
That's
me.
true.
He could be alive. He just had his belly slit. I feel like Chad's experienced something similar. Who knows?
The thing that I think about all the time is, because like the item I would keep is the TV, and everybody
what I
out there,
said earlier.
you guys make jokes about it, everybody out there loves to say Stu is alive.
I say Stu is alive so I could meet Matthew Lillard. That's why I say it. I
mean,
just
that's fair.
Love him so much.
I respect that reasoning for it.
Hi, Matthew. I love you.
I love the core four. So to highlight that kind of family vibe, can you each tell me something about your character that they get via the core four? I know broadly they all get the benefit of family and support, but how can you two grow as individuals via the core four?
I feel like Chad could certainly use his sister's sense of style. Although, that being said, when I tell you I was so excited for my wardrobe in Scream 6, I got to wear Converse and a hoodie, which I've always wanted to wear in any form of media because that's so authentic to what I would wear in that setting.
The hoodie gave me Cotton Weary vibes, and I liked that.
Okay, there you go. You get it. I liked that aspect of it, but if we're being real, Mindy has such nasty drip. And I feel like if he could maybe cop some of that, I think he'd
Mindy
pay.
could help you out there, and then Chad could teach Mindy how to, like do some push-ups, some pull-ups, beef up a bit.
Exercise.
Mindy could not last in a fist fight necessarily. I mean, we've seen that
We've
more
seen
than once
quads,
now.
Those quads, those hamstrings.
She goes out pretty easy without.
She holds her own given what she goes through. Here's a good follow-up to that, actually, because you get two pretty significant set pieces where one is very action-heavy and one is mostly done through, tension-building editing.
Yeah.
You as an actor, which one do you find more difficult?
More difficult? Oh, that's a really good question. They're difficult in different ways. The tension building is more difficult because it is so technical, and it's like, okay, we need you to look here, look here, look here, look here, look here. But the other is difficult because it takes like frickin' days, and by the last day, you're so tired. I am, at least. Devin wasn't, but she's in her early 20s.
Right. That's the discrepancy. Age. She bounced back so bad.
Here's a big burning acting question I've had for this entire franchise. What is the key, or what is a tip or trick you would give to another actor for acting stabbed? Acting stabbed, and also how one must feel after the stabbing has occurred.
That's a good
Melissa
question.
had a great comment on the
She
shock
asked someone
value.
who's been stabbed about
And
it.
they said, it feels really cold, and then where the knife moves thereafter, you'd have to imagine it would hit so many nerves that's when the pain would kick in.
I think it's like, don't be afraid of it looking too big, and it's very physical. It's just like,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
You
did
just
you
throw-
just get stabbed?
Exactly.
Oh, you were acting.
I was acting.
That's so embarrassing. I thought you were stabbed.
I
That's
know.
crazy. Wow.
I'm gonna try to squeeze in one more question here.
Please.
I have a feeling you have both been asked about this, but I could talk about this all day long. Do you have an absolute favorite Ghostface killer, obviously not including Scream 6?
Oh, great. Easy.
I think
Mrs.
Mikey
Loomis.
Madison.
Oh.
I really freaking loved her reveal. Every time I see that, I scream. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's so good. Because I am, what? Also, kind of hot.
Yeah.
I'm
know what I
gonna
mean?
I'm gonna put you on the spot. If you had to pick a Ghostface from a movie that you are not in, who would you pick? Who would you pick? But Mikey is an excellent choice and deserves loads of credit for what she does in that third act reveal.
Thank you.
If not Mikey, Mrs. Loomis is
Yeah.
10 out of 10. That's a power suit, murdering mommy.
He loves a woman in a... Stop saying mommy.
What? Mommy? That's what? She's a muscle mommy in a
He
power
loves
suit.
a woman in a power suit, and he doesn't understand what
want?
mommy means these days.
Mommy's just like a woman with...
Stop.
with
Now
babies.
all I could think about the fact that people keep calling Pedro Pascal daddy, so now I
Oh.
need like mommy and daddy to
We
do
need our-
something together.
Do something together.
We share a certain history.
Hayden, I'll come your way first to talk a little bit about Kirby's evolution here. What is one particular quality of hers that you wanted to maintain from Scream 4 to now, but then also what's something you deliberately wanted to do different to show how those events impacted her?
I wanted to keep her spunk. Her spunk is something I love. Her spunk, her curiosity, she's just a badass. And then what I wanted to change, over the years is I wanted her to be the person that came out of the trauma fighting as a fighter, swinging and wanting the bad guys to be afraid of her. That's what I truly wanted, and they did not disappoint.
The more of that fight, the better. All right, Dermot, for you, I know you have done horror movies before, but Scream is a little bit of a unique type of production process. So what would you say is the biggest misconception you had about what it would take to make a Scream movie going into filming?
Oh, well, I was so impressed with the script. I got it in pieces, so even that was kind of a piecing it together process, which made it fun because then the reveal was really its own experience, even for the reader. But I knew I was entering a world that had, well, it's even right there in the screen in Scream. They tell you the rules of the movie, then they make the rules, and then they break the rules, and they use them against you. And it's wonderful, and I've loved it throughout the films. I studied them all, and I watched them leading up to beginning work on Scream 6. So by then... I'd just seen Scream 5, and the next day I'm shooting Scream 6, so it was that close together. The filmmakers made these films so quickly close together that it's almost like a double package. Just thrilled to join this cast that did so well and made a hit movie on Scream 5.
That's one of the most impressive elements of the film. I can't believe how good it is and how short a period of time they had to turn it around.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing.
Really, and we had production issues as well, as everyone during that period did making movies. So we fought through that. Everybody showed up with all of incredible energy. in the final scenes, of course, where most of the characters are in the same place. It's just almost like a play, which I've never done, but you know what I mean? It'd be like we're in a theater, we're in a green room together, all a very small room, exchanging
Yes, no, it was very
music
much like a play, and I have done one.
Really close cast that they welcomed me into, so it was amazing.
You fit right in.
Great group.
Right in.
All right, speaking of that cast, I absolutely love asking about the value of a good scene partner. So can each of you name a time on this set when a scene partner gave you just what you needed in a challenging moment and it helped you reach something in your own character that you wouldn't have been able to without them?
Ooh, I would definitely say, I would say Dermot.
Well, there's wonderful scenes in the police station.
Great scenes together.
Yeah, so cool.
And
thank you for that.
No, but it's true. I'm actually not just
I mean,
saying
thank
this
you for
because
that
you're
date, because of
sitting
course
there,
not
but-
only are you in the scene the one that knows more about the Ghostface, you're also the actor in the scene that knows more about Scream movies. So your presence and your experience, I'm thanking you for it, made a difference for me in being able to portray that scene even more honestly, because that was part of our real truth.
Just a pro. And Jasmin Savoy Brown, obviously, in that scene that we had when we go head to head, she brought it, and she is a love and just such a light, and working with her, it was amazing. Everyone's incredible, but those two really stand out.
And
for
to
me.
discreetly answer that question, I was very impressed by Melissa's athleticism.
Oh yeah, that girl
Really brought a lot in that way. The whole cast is required, yourself included, but there are moments in the film where that came into play with certain characters.
This might be a tough question to answer without teetering into
I did
spoilers.
great on that last question just now,
You're
but go
doing
on.
great in general.
Thank you.
So with Melissa, I feel like she has one of the greatest challenges and winds up being one of the biggest wild cards in terms of like balancing genuinely want to protect the people that she loves, but also tapping into that Billy Loomis bloodlust. So can you each name a time where maybe she took something that was on the page and she did something way different than you ever could have imagined with it?
I never imagined anything. I don't come with expectations,
so
I was
smart.
always surprised. I was always surprised. But she's such a warm, loving spirit.
Yeah.
So to see her ever go dark or have an ominous moment takes you aback.
Yeah.
She gets a look in her eyes.
Yes.
And
She certainly does. If you're saying that Melissa gets a look in her eye, but yeah, again, it's hard to answer. I will say, when I saw the film, I was so impressed by everybody's. It's hard to think that in Scream there would be any subtlety.
No.
That's what the leads are using in there. If you don't know what it is and why it seems so funny when it's underplayed, Melissa, Jenna too, they really hit that tone in such a satisfying way.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, Scream is kind of, it's gotten more and more intimate in some of it. I don't know. It used to be a little broader. Now it's a realer environment especially between the sisters in that storyline. So
the
they made it
looks.
so real.
The looks.
That some of it, could,
have to
as
pay
an actor,
attention.
they can make it so small and it still fits on a really big stage. So I was so impressed by
as a
that.
diehard fan, I appreciate that because you have to evolve the franchise, and I feel like that's one particular way that they are making these new movies feel incredibly different, and it works.
Can I add that, if the broader conversation is how acting styles have changed and maybe become more subtle or just a little different since
Nuanced,
96 to now, 25 years of acting, style. It is definitely a different game now than it was when we started.
Okay, speaking of that style a little, and this is not a spoiler, it is a rule of Scream, everybody is a suspect.
Yeah.
For maybe a future actor who's going to join the Scream franchise, what tip or trick would you give them in terms of presenting their character as though they could be a suspect, but also not going too far in that respect?
Pick your moments. Just choose your moments wisely. Those moments where you could throw somebody off.
Yeah, I'm tapping into a sensation of
You
my
know what
own
I
brain
mean?
saying, don't do anything.
Yeah.
Don't don't even. Some of those frames are filled with 8 and 10 people, right? Also. And you know well from experience that certain types of movements, or if you're further back, or if there's a lighting thing that you flash, you know, the human eye goes, I think so. And it's just always
in the
really,
eyes, though, and
all
it's
of
in
the actors
stillness.
are calculating what their character would do, how they would then, their behavior would reflect their character, but
The
in a
timing.
Scream movie, you also have to be really careful.
The
what
timing,
you're
the
saying.
stillness, and the. I mean, even just a blink, even just
That's
a
what I mean.
lack of
So
a
I'm,
blink.
or
and
not having a blink.
breath
Right.
and that moment.
I learned a lot from these guys, from the Scream cast. It just right away I got the sense that it's not as broad as it used to be.
As someone who has a keen eye for all those details, you nailed all the right things on that list there. I am a New Yorker, in addition to just being a diehard Scream fan, so I need to celebrate the location in this movie.
Me too.
So I'm going to throw you into a scenario. Real you're out and about New York, and Ghostface is somewhere in New York. Where does Ghostface manage to find and kill you? What is your favorite place in New York that they know they can find you? For example, I will die in the meatball shop.
Right, where's that meatball shop?
It is not far from where we are right now, and it is
Shop,
excellent.
It's just a shop for meatballs. You can make a movie about that. Horrifying.
I will watch
Probably
that movie
diet
over and over.
That's what I mean.
Sacks.
You diet sacks. Mine would definitely be.
An Italian restaurant. Oh, actually, no. What's the? Oh, my mom would know this.
You got it.
There's a restaurant that's about it's dead people like it's Frankenstein basically comes down and it's this whole show.
So you have a horror movie where they're trying to kill Hayden.
It's this restaurant that used
about
to be
a movie,
my favorite.
and
They
you
would
would
find
set
me
it in
there.
a scary
I gotta remember
restaurant.
what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, that's brilliant. See, it's like it's a show within a show within a show. By
Yes.
then.
Yes.
I like it. Mine would be Central Park. Super
Okay.
cinematic.
Okay. I mean, out in the open, anything can happen in New York.
That's right. Amazing.